Alright guys, so welcome. You're watching the first grand final match in the Gigabyte Masters qualifying round. This is qualifier number 1 for one of the spots in Group C. My name is Man. Casting with me also is, of course, Gods from Absolute Legends. But right now, Ice, the Malaysian team on the Radiant side, versus HARROSH, the Singaporean team on the Dire. And, of course, Game 1 in a best-of-3 series with, well, Decisive been banging first. And I know you were saying something about him being more popular as a band now, Gods.
Yeah, well, I think it's just these teams have been favouring him quite strongly. I think Ice have used him in multiple of their games, and it's been being picked up early on constantly with the way, with the style of play that these Asian teams are using. They're going for these sort of mid-game nuke-based lineups, and the Dark Sea Vacuum is great for setting that up. Not to mention the Surge and the laning abilities that he has makes him a really nice pick. And I think one of the teams that sort of forefronted that was Orange. Orange were using Dark Sea in both Dota 1 and Dota 2 as that side lane solo almost every game, and now teams are starting to catch on, and we are going to see it being banned here. Dire team at the first pick, so we're going to definitely see Radiant team banning out those top pick heroes. Probably the Chen, Lycan being banned out by the Dire. We'll see Chen probably Prophet as well being banned out here.
Yeah, definitely Chen would not surprise me, just because he can be so aggressive earlier, and plus he's just Mr. My team does not die now. You've got to try. He skulks around the back of the fight, makes his team incredibly hard to kill with that mech, with that Hand of God, and it really forces you to dive through the middle of the fight, try and find that Chen, try and take him out. Otherwise, you're looking at a good 450, maybe anywhere like about 600 extra effective health per hero on the team. Is very, very frustrating to deal with. And also, if you present a weak lane against his jungle, he can easily jump out of there, either try and gank you, or just bust down your towers while you're not watching. So it's definitely a very frustrating hero to play against. But it looks like we're getting very few of the heroes banned. I'm surprised by this Invoker ban, just because Snoopy was telling me that he doubted that Invoker would be as popular as he was before, just because he was a little bit exploitable, being a very level dependent hero, wasn't that effective during the very early game. But as it is, he's been banned. He's still being banned consistently. What's your take on it, Gods?
Well, it's one of those heroes where it can be so annoying if he gets the levels he needs. The problem is that he's not that good until he gets around level 8, level 9, level 10. Those early levels is, if you're going for the Quaz Wex build where you go the Tornado EMP, well, you need pretty high level Wex for that to be effective. If you're going the Exalt build, you can do okay in the lane. You can also use the Sunstrike at early levels, but that's pretty much all you've got. You've got no real lane control. The only spell which gives him any sort of lane dominance is that Cold Snap. And wow, this just goes to show. Draken says, man, that Leshrac, well, here you go. Do that again.
Dragon just says, this backpack is kind of comfortable. I don't want to get out. Do it again. Do it again. I love it. Windrunner, though, the first pick on the Radiant side, of course, very versatile. Can do just about anything bar jungling. In fact, we even see her get run as a hard support on the occasion. eHome was the first team I actually saw do that. Did surprise the hell out of me, but hey, it didn't work just because Na'Vi were busy dumping on them so damn hard. But at the same time, it is viable just because she can get away without items. She, of course, can just sort of survive, be useful with good shackle shots, with good power shots, and can annoy the tower when they're pushing.
Yeah, really nice hero, and it doesn't really reveal too much about whether they want to go for a heavy push-based lineup, pick up a hard carry. Windrunner can fit into absolutely anything, any role, any strategy, and it's the Dire team who have picked up a hero that isn't often picked up that early on in the draft, and I think that is something that the Radiant team may look to capitalize on with these first two picks. But with that said, it's going to be an Earthshaker, so Earthshaker going to give them the nice laning they need, and I mean, I'm wondering if we're going to see another Windrunner versus Leshrac lane at that top lane. Last game we saw Leshrac dominated Windrunner. I'd be interested to see whether or not that could happen again.
I think it's definitely a possibility, and also Corral shouting out that he's glad for once that he gets to watch a stream before midnight. I'm gonna add it. I'm glad for once I get to cast a stream before midnight as well. And I've got to say, Gods, I love the stuff that Gigabyte are doing here. This is fantastic. Really giving the Oceanic scene, as well as of course the Southeast Asian scene as well, a big boost in the Dota 2 area. And I was a little bit disappointed when initially the Chinese and even the Southeast Asian were really favouring vanilla Dota over Dota 2. I was very disappointed. I was really looking forward to them getting involved, and then they sort of just withdrew with, you know, Mineski. Particularly Mineski dropping a lot of matches in those Euro comps as well, just saying, you know what, like TPL and stuff, they were just no-shows completely. So having these comps for them to play, I think is fantastic, and it's great that Gigabyte are getting on board with it. But Enigma being picked up, Gods.
Yeah, Enigma going to give them some additional laning power if they want to run that as a solo hero, or could run in the jungle. I think we may we may see it running in the jungle, depending how if they want that Leshrac to be solo again, and Tidehunt at the other pick as well. Back on the topic, I mean, the Asian teams, as you said, not doing that well in TPL, and I think if anything, that kind of deterred them from coming to Dota 2, because their first experience with Dota 2 was playing against Europeans on high lag, and they just thought, well, let's just play Dota 1. We're playing just local teams and in the local scene, which is still there. We don't have to play on lag. So for them, it was like, why are we playing Dota 2 when it's against Europeans with a laggy setting? So here we are, thanks to Gigabyte and Twitch TV, having an Asian-centric tournament. And here we go in the Qualifier #1 finals. Tidehunt, I mean, what do you think? This is a lot of AoE, a great team fight coming out from Draken's lineup, at least at the moment. And Radiant is going to have to deal with this some way or another.
Yeah, that is really looking like one hell of a fearsome lineup. If right now, if I was sitting in Ice Boys boots, I would be incredibly scared just looking at all of that AoE firepower. Of course, Black Hole and like Ravage, the Black Hole to set up for it, to be set up by the Ravage, and of course Leshrac just charging. If he was watching that last match too, he would realise how much of a carry that they can make him. Now, Venomancer though being picked up, of course, Venomancer's annoying to try and push against, just because even if you win the team fight, it can leave you so damn low on health. It can be very difficult to justify sticking around to finish off the towers. I do like the Venomancer pick. But at the same time, I just don't think that they have the fantastic lockdown that the Dire have at the moment. And they have actually banned Obsidian Destroyer. Now, you told me, Gods, that Obsidian is actually really heavily favoured in the Southeast Asian scene.
Yeah, it's one of those heroes which MUFC are known for using it. A few other of the teams are known for using this hero as their solo mid, as their main carry. They'll often run it as sort of a dual lane in mid. Basically, it'll be their main carry, and they'll pick up some kind of semi-carry or utility hero to sort of be in the side lanes. Heroes like Queen of Pain are popular, as well as the Windrunner, which we're seeing here. The way that I think the main difference between the Asian scene and the European scene when it comes to strategy is the Asian teams it's all about laning. They love to have heroes that are strong in lane. You'll see the ES being picked up, a great defensive laning hero, can prevent ganks from happening. Venomancer, Windrunner. Windrunner is, in my eyes, one of the best laning heroes in the game. In a 1v1 matchup, does well against almost anything. It can go up against a tri-lane and survive. And that's why Obsidian Destroyer comes in. He's one of those heroes that can win his lane simply because of that Astral Imprisonment. You can deny farm, you can deny XP. And the European scene, they seem to focus more on being aggressive and pushing down towers, and they'll sometimes suffer in the laning phase, but look to make up with that with their pushes.
I'm curious, guys, just throwing out that, obviously Australia being the sort of the weird mix, the sort of the mutt mix between the European and Asian just like cultures. How would you describe your team's like focus? Just out of curiosity.
I would say it's more sort of European style. We verse those teams more often. We are versing the Asian teams, but I think the metagame over there is a bit more advanced. They've been playing at a top competitive level a lot longer. And as a result, the Asian teams, they're developing their own style, which definitely it doesn't mean they're behind in the sense they've been adapting and playing Dota 2 for less time. But their style is still, once it develops more, it'll still be strong and it'll still be very different to the way the European teams play. But I definitely think AL as a whole play a more sort of push team-heavy lineup where they don't focus so much on getting heroes. You don't see them picking up Earthshaker. You don't see them picking up Windrunner. They go for heroes like the Queen of Pain, the Maranas, and a much more different style than what we're seeing from these teams.
Okay, so Dazzle, that's a hero that I don't see particularly frequently. Obviously, he's going to make something like Leshrac very hard to kill. In fact, if I remember correctly, I was casting the Arena Masters tournament. We had skill difference in an American team show up. It was an Oceanic tournament. Skill difference rocked up, and they were actually running a ton of Crobulus plus Dazzle, trying to keep Crobulus alive. Not too sure I love the Crobulus pick, but hey, I think it's going to be a similar thing to what we see here. Basically, Dazzle is going to do his damnedest to keep Leshrac alive and up and running, and of course, that ult from Dazzle is really going to make Edict do a ton of damage, as well as the fact it's going to really shore up one of Leshrac's early weaknesses, which is physical damage. He really needs to watch out for that physical DPS, just because as an intelligence hero, his armor gain is not fantastic, plus his normal build of a Bloodstone, and then sometimes might go straight into a BKB, doesn't really leave him with a lot of armor, so he can be a little bit squishy, and of course, flat out Shallow Grave, incredibly frustrating, as we all know, trying to kill that, anybody under the influence of that.
Yeah, and the Radiant team picking up the Shadow Shaman, it's a more sort of very conventional. I mean, in some ways, it's a safe draft. It's something we saw when Dota 2 first came out and teams weren't too sure about how to pick more drafts with some fringe heroes. They would go for this kind of lineup. Windrunner solo the side lane, Shadow Shaman at mid, ES Venomancer, the two supports. They're going to pick up some last hero for their tri lane, plenty of options. They could go for a Mirana, they could go for something like a DK Slaughter. There's options of plenty, and a Riki is going to be the pick for Draken. That is a hero we haven't seen much by these Asian teams, and it's one of those heroes which I think can really be very, very strong here. Maybe, as said, the Slaughter could be the carry of choice for the Radiant team if they want that amplified damage.
Yeah, well, I think Ice may regret this. I mean, they banned Anti-Mage, and of course, Riki and Anti-Mage have similar properties in the early mid-game, just because they have similar auto-attack DPS. They can do a lot, like a really scary amount of DPS when you're not watching. Even with just a little bit of lockdown, they can go absolutely to town on people. So I am a little bit worried. Also, this, of course, the invisible heroes obviously provide this extra drain on the support economy, can slow them down in terms of getting that early mech, early pipe, just because they're busy trying to buy counter wards, trying to watch out, and of course it also makes trying to farm the jungle a relatively dangerous option for several heroes, so it can be relatively annoying. And I actually, honestly, as I'm sure the chat's about to light up with the Riki stuff, but yeah, I love my Riki. I've played way too much Riki. He's just an all-round fun hero to play, so I'm looking forward to seeing him used. But he's that kind of hero that just applies a lot of pressure, even if it's not like physical pressure, it's just the mental sort of mind games pressure that really makes them question every move they do. Just wandering around, trying to set up a gank. It's just, are we being spotted? Do they know we're here? Are we about to be counter ganked? It's a very dangerous thing to have to play against, I think.
Yep, and Ice are deciding to go with what has been working with them for the entire tournament long. We're going to see another Morphling. We saw it in Bruce Lee's hands yesterday. We saw Jack playing it in their semi-final match. And they're just going to quite happily pick that up again. They'll probably run that tri-lane bottom, look to get that Morphling nice and farmed, although we have seen them do that dual lane Morphling at middle lane a couple times, so they may want to try run with that again. But then we're seeing something like an Earthshaker Shadow Shaman bottom, or even, yeah, I mean, I would pretty much have to be an Earthshaker with the Shadow Shaman at bottom, so something a bit more, not as conventional, but we're going to see what exactly they do here.
Bruce Lee has disconnected, and he will be playing Morphling once again. Going to be trying to carry the hell out. And the question is, I'm just wondering whether he's going to go. If they're going to try and, I mean, when we saw them do the Morphling initially, there was a kind of unexpected dual mid.
Yeah, it was unexpected, but it worked out because they managed to pick up a few kills. And in a 2v1 scenario at mid, Morphling is it's one of those few dual lanes that can actually get kills very quickly. Because at mid lane, you're so close to your tower. Normally, if they go on you, you just back off right to your tower. But the actual quick damage coming out from a lane like that, I mean, you can get some kills depending on who you're up against at mid.
As I see somebody asking, Agilin asking, is this Rasta? This is indeed Rasta, the Shadow Shaman. The guy with the Serpent Wards, very powerful hero, very dangerous hero, as we're just waiting for the mighty Bruce Lee to get back in here to try and cause some smackdown. And the question is, can Leshrac, who, oh, actually no, wait, that's not the same Leshrac. Top is running Leshrac, and we will have Riki this time. So can everybody get in Riki's big brown backpack?
Yep, they have mixed up the heroes a bit this game, but Riki probably going to be going to that top lane with some support, as we will have to wait and see. I mean, I'm not quite sure how they want to lane this. Not many of their heroes can go into that hard lane for the Dire team. I'm not sure who is going to go bottom, and we'll have to wait and see, because, I mean, with their current heroes, what do you send to solo that bottom lane? The only thing that really can is going to be that Enigma. So it looks like Enigma knock me in jungle. They'll put Enigma bottom. They'll put maybe the Leshrac at mid and then run that tri-lane top with the Tide Dazzle support, trying to make sure that SA can get nice early farm, or, sorry, the Riki, for those of you who are not familiar with the Dota 1 nicknames of these heroes.
I am just, I don't know why, they just decided, let's not call it Stealth Assassin. Although I suppose, I mean, you've got the Phantom Lancer, the Phantom Assassin, and then the Stealth Assassin, and maybe it's just a full-on, just way too confusing. Here we go. Finally, Bruce Lee back, I think. Let me just double-check. He is back in the game. Okay, so we're good to go. Now, Venomancer doubling up on the wards there. He has grabbed up both the Rev and the counter wards and the Obs wards. I'm just trying to check out, does anybody else get the chicken? Earthshaker, it looks like he bought the chick. He has also picked up Smoke for an early gank. I don't know, I'm just wondering if they will be taking the top lane, an aggressive tri-lane here.
I think they'll switch. They're just looking for an early kill here. They're going to want to put down that ward, block the creep pull, and then leave Windrunner to solo the top lane. If they can block the creep pull, it's much easier for Windrunner to solo that top lane, and then they're going to have the tri-lane swing towards bottom lane. That's why they've got the Sentry Ward, so that Venomancer can use that creep pull at bottom lane with their tri-lane, and this creep block at top is going to allow Windrunner to pull the wave back to tower, not get the wave pulled and stacked and XP denied. As meanwhile, bottom lane we see Enigma with 5 priorities, branches. He's going to be soloing that bottom lane, not really going for a jungle build, and Tidehunter helping ward that bottom lane.
I'm just wondering, well, actually, I see a lot of people complaining there are no names in the stream. Of course, unfortunately, the Starboard program does not work for me. This is why I haven't been able to use it. I will just actually start manually putting the names on a bit later. But guys, until then, we have ICE on the Radiant side. They are the Malaysian team, and they're up against HARROSH, the Singaporeans, on the die. This is game 1 in a best-of-3 series, and we're about ready to kick things off. Although Tyner appears to be chilling out down here. I thought he would. I don't know. It looks like they're going to just dual aim with Ricky. I don't know how well they're going to be able to handle this, though, gods.
I don't think he's going to stay bottom. The Tide Enigma bottom lane is not... You're not sending the Enigma bottom to do as dual lane. The Enigma is kind of there just to deny XP and farm from the Morphling, although Morphling is going to be going top. Not sure if they're expecting that. It's going to be Enigma against Windrunner. So the Radiant team, I think they were thinking about putting their Morphling bottom, but then seeing, oh, there's the Ricky is at top. They want to go tri-lane versus tri-lane, duke it out at this top lane, as they will. Venomancer hasn't actually blocked the pull yet. He'll do that in just a second, I imagine, just in time to... actually, no, he's just going to manually block it, in fact, and he is going to scout at the Ricky here.
Ricky saying, hello, there's people here being irritating, so he's just going to back up. And now Tidehunter has indeed, you were right, he has indeed rotated back up towards top. Has also got a DD rune on the way up here. It's going to run out before he can do anything meaningful with it. I'm just wondering, though, how well this is going to work. I mean, I feel that the Dire trial is going to be relatively defensive for a while, just because, of course, Dazzle's one of those heroes that really needs levels. I'm just wondering if Tidehunter may try and stay uninvolved for a while, just because Dazzle is one of those heroes who really, really badly needs his levels.
Yeah, and the Dire team, they need to use the creep ball here. One's been blocked, but they can actually go and pull that small camp, which would probably be the best thing they could do here, because this tri-lane is not going to be one they can win by sheer aggression, unless the Radiant team misplay it. But from so far, we have not seen them make too many mistakes in their teamwork and coordination. And as far as the two 1v1 lanes, I think the Radiant team have a slight edge. Shadow Shaman should do better than the Leshrac at middle lane. Does have is a bit better at pushing out the wave, getting the rune control, and bottom lane Windrunner can use that power shot to take out Eidolons and out farm an Enigma. Although it is a fairly even matchup.
It is indeed. I am definitely. I do agree that he doesn't have a huge advantage, but definitely Rasta is just a little bit stronger. It's a possible gank up on top of it. I see all the heroes clustering up there now. Venomancer getting blocked in by a teammate. Unfortunately, that vision not fantastic. It looks like Tidehunter might come out second best, though. Do we have any heals up there? Here he comes. Oh, he's got Shallow Grave up. Tidehunter should be able to get away here successfully. But definitely the Dice sustaining a fair bit of damage there.
Yeah, Ricky had to use his Blink Strike to escape early on, but I mean, this is what we're going to keep seeing coming out from the Radiant team. Then Ricky, whenever he goes into farm, they're going to throw nukes at him. They're going to maybe try going him. Even if they don't kill him, they're still going to get the lane control, because Morphling, as you can see, is free farming, and Ricky is just too scared to even come near and contest those creeps.
Indeed, this is going to be frustrating. I'm just wondering if he's going to try and pick up a poor man's shield ASAP. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, you've got a whole bunch
mid lane, they're ganking the Leshrac. In fact, Leshrac gets fissure blocked by the ES, and Shadow Shaman picks up the first blood.
The spirits will be seeing.
Nice little gank there from the Earthshaker. Didn't even use that smoke.
Indeed, good result. Good eyes on that. I was missing that at times watching the bloody knee. Something I'm guilty of way too often. Missed the first blood because you're distracted trying to look at somebody's CS. I actually cannot wait. Honestly, there's one thing I would like pointed out from HON. It would be the Spectator HUD. It is so much easier to use for the cameraman. But regardless, enough of that musings. Down in the bottom lane, what have we got? 8 to 11 Enigma. He really has been denying pretty hard. I'm going to blame some of his Eidolons, and I'm pretty sure that's tracked. Meanwhile, what have we got for Gigolo playing the Windrunner? She's on 6 and 2. So yeah, Windrunner appears to be coming out second best here. Although I think once she gets a few levels in power shots, it's going to be more difficult for the Eidolons to be spammed, just because they could be a bit of free food if Enigma's not careful, just due to those power shots.
Yep, at the same time, Windrunner not going for the early Bassi ring. Often you'll see the Ring of Protection out in the lane. Is going to mean he doesn't have the bonus damage as well as the mana regen from that. Probably just going to look for some fast phase boots, but I definitely think Bassi ring is the way to go. But I don't think, I mean, more importantly, he's just straight out losing in terms of farm. Enigma with that means of nice is a big lead, and that's going to give Windrunner a bit of a disadvantage there.
Yeah, geez, he's got 14 denials already. He really is ripping away through those friendly creep. Sort of stabbing them in the back there, a bit mean. It doesn't matter, as it looks like. Just checking on Ricky's farm. What is he? He's sitting on 12 and 0. I mean, Morphling's 16 and 3. He's not that far behind. So he is definitely under a lot of pressure, and his lane is naturally defensive right now. Unfortunately, Rasta definitely wants some real levels before they can try and hit back. Just because right now Ricky can't really get involved without getting stunned and nuked into oblivion there.
And Shadow Shaman and Leshrac both going for runes. This time Shadow Shaman is going to luck out. It is bottom, and that means Shadow Shaman with this invis rune going to come back to mid. Looks for level 6, but Leshrac has decided, let's go ganking. He does get spotted, I think, by that Observer Ward, and the Radiant team going to back off, and that's Leshrac wasting a lot of time coming all the way top. and not going to even find anything. And
Indeed.
that's going to hurt him. And I mean, Shadow Shaman can even look to push this mid tower as he is about to hit level 6.
You know, this is one of the issues with responding to early pressure is, of course, you can't really afford to leave a dangerous hero like Shadow Shaman unchecked, because it's just like, you know, oh, well, I'm fine, I'll just take this early, easy farm and I'll just put it towards Blink Dagger. Although the Shrek appears to have committed to trying to, I don't know what he's doing here. Maybe he's just trying to push right about now, but I really don't agree with what's going on here. Like you said, it's allowing Rasta to go unchecked, and I mean, he could even drop Serpent Wards here and go for this mid down back. There we go, the pinging, go for it, go nuts. Now the Dire pinging, hang on, we need to defend this, and then nobody's got a port ready to go. Nope, they don't. So it's going to be a pretty free tower mid. It looks like they're just going to go, we can't defend, let's just trade. The question is, can they try and trade 3v4? They don't have a huge advantage. Obviously, Ricky's not really ready to go. Shaman can't really get that aggressive right now. Dazzle can't get rid of that aggressive, and of course, they just don't have that Ravage up and running yet. In fact, that's a level 2 Tide Hunter. It doesn't even have Anchor Smash. It's gone straight for Kraken Shell.
Yeah, and that was just nothing really to that. Shadow Shaman just walked mid, dropped the wards, got a tower, and meanwhile Enigma gets a solo kill on bottom lane. Didn't catch any of that. Don't know if you did. I was not expecting that, to say the least, as he did use the Black Hole to pick it up, so...
I did not see Windrunner get taken out there.
Some nice play from him nonetheless, using that Black Hole. And to me, it's the Dire team just aren't really playing to their lineup strength there. Leshrac goes all the way top lane with the level 3 Edict, thinking, oh, let's push this tower.
Surprise butt sex at bottom though. Rasta comes out of invisibility. Enigma now being chased around in circles. He's going to try and drop a stun. Not going to happen. Oh, it is going to happen. However, going to go down to an auto attack there. And Rasta copping a Maledict, or a Malefice to the face there. Not a Maledict, a Malefice. Now, what have we got up top? Ricky. Whoa, hang on. Ricky. I don't know. I know I'm guilty of stacking boots and all sorts of random heroes, including Ricky, but Ricky has gone for, I'm getting 1 million Wraith Bands right about now.
I think it's okay. It's because they're going to be struggling. They basically, the Dire team, want to use their early game power to get some kills, to get some towers. He does need to obviously pick up those treads next. I wouldn't recommend getting a 4th Wraith Band, but with 3 Wraith Bands and treads, I mean, that's Ricky doing a lot of damage. Although he is only level 4, so you can't just get those Wraith Bands, you need to get the levels as well to make them useful. Also, something slightly different, he has got 2 levels in Blink. It appears he might be maxing out on Blink instead of the normally accepted build, which is in fact getting backstab, just because it does so much freaking damage, especially with the 6.73 buffs. Now, it looks like Venomancer's going to go, and the vision goes down. I think that's mostly just a steal creep, though, rather than to try and set up any kind of kill. Yep, and right now Leshrac still sort of lingering around bottom lane, and this Leshrac, his movement around the map just hasn't been all that useful for his team. I mean, when he went top, he wanted to try to push that tier 1 tower, but that's not what the Dire team top lane was designed for. They picked a Ricky to get Ricky some farm, to get Ricky sort of basically easy levels and farm, and that's not what's happening. Leshrac comes, steals XP, pushes the lane out a bit, and they didn't really accomplish all that much, as meanwhile Morphling, being nice and protected, kept nice and secure. ES Venomancer just sitting behind him, and you can see Team Ice just have a much clearer game plan. And also Rasta has been left alone for all this time, has picked up Arcane Boots as well as his bomb. Now he's popped the haste, is trying to get involved, but realises they've seen him. The Dire side have backed up, so nothing going to come of this probably. Now does Rasta, he has got his ultimate up and running. They might just try and push his lane back and make it very... If they can get this early push off, this would be fantastic for the Radiant, as it would make it incredibly hard for Ricky to farm this safely. Yeah, and Rasta is going to probably drop those wards, take out this tier 1 tower. They might not even need to drop those wards. It looks like they're just going to give it up here. And if they catch on to that, they probably won't even use those wards and may even try to keep on pushing, take out a tier 2 tower potentially. As they are going to find... Oh, no, they're just going to drop the wards, make sure they get the tower. It looks like the Dire are just happy to sacrifice this tower. I'm not dead sure I agree. Maybe they're just going to... I mean, they're not even counter-pushing another lane at the moment, really. Not particularly hard. So this bothers me a little bit, the fact that they're giving this away. Although Neva now dropping Malefice on top of Windrunner. She is getting smacked around by Eidolons. Although nothing comes out. ES and Venomancer find the Ricky at top lane in the jungle. Ricky pops the smoke TP. He will survive this. That was a smart decision by him to pop that TP scroll, as they're now going to change target, look for this Dazzle. Dazzle, though, going to retreat to the safety of his tower, as Venomancer putting a ward on the high ground, as well as a sentry. That's a very early D-ward position there. I don't think the Dire team would put that Observer ward up there that early on, although they may decide to quite shortly. If I was a Dire right about now, I would have a ward moving down to this plateau in between the camps, just because, well, above the mid lane, just because, like,
Right now, because that top tower's down, this is as well as a mid tower, this is a big highway. As you see here, the Radiant, they're using it as a highway. They're going to come through here, and they're going to try and put a lot of pressure on the top lane. Whenever Ricky steps out from that tower to try and farm, steps more than a few paces out of the tower, they're going to take the opportunity to try and jump him. Now, Ricky's still, and he is doing a blink strike build. Now, I honestly really don't agree, especially when he's got so many early Wraith fans. This is very weird in my opinion. He's gone for so many early Wraith fans, obviously a ton of early damage, but then he's completely...
Bottom lane, they've gone on the win rate at bottom as Leshrac and tied with the Enigma. We'll pick up that kill. Sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, it's action. We need to call it. But meanwhile, I mean, they've gone for that bottom lane. At the same time, they're sacrificing this top tower. And it's 18 seconds on Rasta's server ward. So, I mean, they're probably going to lose this tower. Nobody's coming to port. I think they're just going to try and trade a tier 1 tower for a tier 2. I don't think this is going particularly well for HARROSH right now at all.
Yeah, they are falling behind levels farm. I mean, Ricky is not even level 6 yet. It is 10 minutes in. He's getting closer and closer. And the Radiant team are taking down tier 2 towers. Dire team saying, okay, we can get this tier 1 tower at bottom. Leshrac has reached the level 4 edict, which will give him a lot of pushing power. But it's really being very, very costly. They're losing a lot of map control. They're losing out a lot of farm as they are just sticking together too much and not getting the levels and items that all their heroes need.
And Ricky's still stuck at level 5. But Gods, I'm really interested to hear your opinion on this build. But I mean, this is definitely...
Ricky.
Yeah.
To me, there's reasoning behind both builds. Having the low the blink strike at level 1 has a very long cooldown, 20 seconds. If you can get that down to 5 seconds, you can use that as your main source of damage. Obviously, backstab is nice damage if you can get those right clicks off, if you have disables to back it off with. But if you're just going to be farming and relying on the low cooldown blink strike, sometimes it is effective enough on its own.
Alright, fair enough. Wise words there. Now, there's Shallow Grave trying to save the Enigma. Enigma now going to drop some spells and run. The server wards are down. Enigma in a lot of trouble. No more attacks go off, so he is just going to barely get away, along with Dazzle, barely escaping. Now, Leshrac trying to fight 4v1 right now. Manning up a little bit too much, getting trapped on the wrong side of those server wards, really. Getting boxed in and shut down. Did buy enough time for his teammates to escape. They brought down Rasta at the same time, but really, Rasta can get away with less farm than Leshrac can, so I'm definitely worried as to how he's going at the moment.
Yeah, and the Shadow Shaman is up to 1900 gold now. Probably going to pick up that Blink Dagger in a couple hundred, and that's going to give him some nice initiation. As, I mean, this entire Radiant team getting up basically their core early game items. The Earthshaker with Arcane Boots. Morphling has bought something. Is it going to be a Yasha? Yeah, he's bought a Yasha on the Crow, and Windrunner with Phase Boots. Bracer probably going to go for that mech for their team, unless he does want to go for that, maybe a Drum of Endurance. But Windrunner's just going to go for some utility items. Your Drum, 4-staff, mech, pipe, those sort of items, as the main DPS is going to come from the Morphling.
I saw Ricky just trying to tangle a little bit there with Shadow Shaman, really not working out from being forced to back up. Shadow Shaman still has a regen bottled up. Enigma now dropping into the jungle, just trying to pick up on his gold. In fact, I'm going to check his GPM right about now. Enigma sitting on 262, so hasn't had a fantastic time in that bottom lane. Of course, has struggled. I think, actually, he did, yeah, that's right, he did get ganked. Of course, Rasta came down there earlier with an invisibility rune. Now, Ricky currently sitting on 298, not fantastic. Morphling, however, not that far ahead of him, only 315-ish. The big GPM swing is, of course, Rasta, who has been given a very big free fire ever since Leshrac started sort of disappearing from the lane, just leaving Rasta alone. Rasta has been taking perfect advantage of that and busting down towers left, right, and centre. But I am definitely interested to see how this Ricky does going into the mid-game.
Well, he's going to need to start doing some damage, because right now the Dire team, like you can see, they go mid with 4 heroes. They think, okay, we've got Leshrac and Enigma, let's push. But then they get met with a line of Plague Wards. They think, okay, we can't push. What now? And here they are. They're looking a bit lost. They are going to pop the smoke, and they're going to look to maybe come around from the side there. Venomancer doing some dewarding. They know where he is at least. And ooh, it looks like they pinged the entire enemy team. They know where they are. So
They might have smoked a little bit too late near the rune, possibly. Yeah. And now they're definitely visible. Of course, that invisibility, that Rev Ward there, spawning up TIE 100. Now the gig's up. They know exactly what's going on.
And this is more wasted time. I mean, HARROSH, they know they're behind, and they're thinking, okay, let's smoke, look for a gank and push to get us sort of claw our way back into this game. But when that smoke doesn't work, when they run around the map doing nothing, well, what happens is they actually fall further behind, which is the opposite of what they were trying to do, because of the wasted time. Morphling is free farming meanwhile, and the Radiant team just managing to farm up while the Dire team does pretty much a whole bunch of nothing.
And this is why I love my Beastmaster with smoke ganks, just because it's so good to have the Hawk scout out the area first, figure out where you want to go, which path to take, so you don't have it knocked off accidentally. As Ricky picks up a haze rune, steals it underneath Earthshaker's nose, Gets stunned in return, but hey, he's pretty much safe at the moment. Nobody can deal with him. Windrunner appears to be going for a 4-star first. So I see Venomancer decided to point out. I thought he might be trying to get a kill there, but I think it's wise that he pointed out because he was getting boxed in there.
Yep. And Ricky picking up a Blade of Alacta. He's farming okay as far as the Dire team goes. He's up to 66 creep kills, which is the highest in the game. So he has managed to not fall behind too much on farm. The Radiant team with 3 heroes hovering around 60 creeps. The Dire team, Enigma as well as Leshrac, around 40 to 50. So the actual creep score's relatively even, 3 towers each, but it's that huge tower difference with the Radiant team picking up those free towers with the Serpent Wards. And that is going to be what is sort of giving them the game control as well as the map control at the moment.
It is going to bite them in the ass, I think, but still, it is definitely not unwinnable at this point. It's only 5k advantage. Of course, going into honestly, I think Morphling is arguably a stronger carry than Ricky going into the late game, so there is that. But then again, he is being backed up a pretty like scary Leshrac. Although on that note, Leshrac has not farmed that well.
Yep, and Morphling gonna have to wave Industries TP out as there was a slight incoming gank on him. And I mean, Morphling, he is a better late game carry, but the Ricky, all he needs to be a dominating force in the mid game is that Diffusal Blade, whereas Morphling, once he picks up his first item, whether it's a Manta style, is not going to do that much. Meanwhile, Enigma, big black hole, hits 2, but there's no actual backup damage. Tide is coming in, wants this Earthshaker, an Anchor Smash or a right click will finish off the job, as he does manage to kill the Leshrac with his Fissure, and Draken, the Enigma, taking a lot of damage as he is going to narrowly survive. TP out, and another 1-for-1 trade as Venomancer cops the Tide Ravage, and that's poor Venomancer. He's like, okay, I'm just going to TP out, and Tide's like, nah, I'm going to Ravage just for you.
I was like, none of that crap. You get back here and you fight me. Oh, Ricky has found himself a DD rune. The question is, can he make something happen? He's near. That is a Radiant counter ward. This could be bad. This could be terrible. Throws down the smoke. Rasta has got enough mana up to disable. The question is, can he get some reinforcements here? I see light blue on the way. Here comes Windrunner. The question is, will Ricky hang around and fight? He's got his blink up again, ready to go. But he decides very wisely to back up. Of course, there are way too many Dire heroes here at the moment. Now, will he decide to gun for one of them when they break up? Or, I mean, they're probably going to stick around. Oh no, Rasta actually using the safety of that ward to teleport out on home. Now, Morphling probably not going to be able to kill him. Just going to be able to waveform out of there. Now, Shadow Shaman just got himself a BKB. And I'm really... I mean, Ricky, he's doing well, but at the same time, I don't know, late game, I'm just not feeling it for the Dire side. It just feels like they're falling too far behind, and they're just a little bit too lost. They're not sure what they're doing. They're pushing, like, they're not really making use of their really good pushing power between Enigma as well as the, who was it there, Leshrac. See a possible gank now. Ricky actually going to go for it. The Fissure goes down. They might lose Ricky here if they can get the Shackle down. Although Shallow Grave being used to protect Ricky. Ricky actually going to gun for it. Brings down Earthshaker. Shallow Grave should protect him for long enough. And now he's got a teleport though. He can actually teleport on at home. He might choose to stick around for a bit though. Enigma probably going to get a power shot. Almost get him. That save there from the heal. Although Enigma, it does get taken out there in the end. Morphling getting stuck in. And now Morphling also going to bring up Bruce Lee, going to take out Tidehunter as well. That courier almost coming into danger. It looks like there is a Ogre Club coming into play for Morphling. It looks like he's going for an early BKB there.
Yeah, and BKB or Sanjin Yasha, I'd say BKB is slightly more likely. It looks like they want to get those BKBs up, use that against the Tide Ravage in particular as a nice little counter item. Interesting was, I mean, they kind of overextended there. They wanted that Earthshaker, and the Radiant team made them pay for it, as we see a push going towards mid lane. They've got the Serpent Wards up, and they're going to be looking to use that to take out this tier 2 tower.
Enigma porting in, though. It's still cooldown on his black hole. Good 40 seconds before it's going to be viable. And now Ricky again going to town there on Rasta's backside. Split Earth as well. Rasta's a dead man walking. The question is, can they bring down Windrunner as well? She's found herself an illusion rune up top. Ricky now still skulking around. He's getting very close. He's about 800 gold shy of his Diffusal Blade. And of course, Diffusal Blade really is critical mass. And I mean, he's got 3. Wow, that is a lot of damage on those Wraith Bands backing him up. 9 damage a pop. Plus the fact that there's 6 agi, so, you know, they're adding even more thanks to backstab. Now, Ricky finally getting leveled in backstab. Going to be doing a ton of damage. So definitely, if he can get that Diffusal Blade up and running, now is going to be his time. And like you said before, Morphling not that fantastic yet. Not at all that fantastic. Really needs that shotgun in the form of an Ethereal Blade.
Well, I mean, you can go for a late game Morphling build without an Ethereal Blade. It just means you won't have the ability to instantly take out a hero. Then with a DPS build, it basically revolves around surviving as long as possible in the fight and just sort of whittling down your opponents with pure right-click damage, as well as that waveform which can finish off heroes. And the later the game goes, the more damage that Adaptive Strike does do as you pick up more and more items, and we will see him probably. I think BKB is going to be what he goes for.
It does look that way. I mean, I have not seen Sanjin ever in a competitive game. It's not really up there in value of items. Now, meanwhile though, the Die deciding they're going to push the top lane, going to try and equalise on towers, though at the same time the Radiant might just decide to counter push this bottom lane, take that tier 2 tower. Meanwhile, they've got 3 heroes prepared at top, going to try and hold this push. I mean, they could even afford to have, say, Venomancer pull back. In fact, they have got a gem of true sight. Venomancer is carrying that, the Fissure goes down, the heals are going out though, Glyph has been popped by the Radiant. The question is, can the Radiant counterattack? No, it doesn't look like it. They're just going to counter push instead. The Dire managed to take that top tower, and there is a courier bringing something out, a Force Staff for Enigma, or for Enigma. And he's also got a Robe of the Magi, which might belong to Ricky, or possibly one of these 2 heroes here. But the counter push down here in the bottom lane for the Radiant hasn't been quite successful. Enigma porting back to defend their Draken, making sure this tower doesn't go down.
That's okay for the Radiant team. They just want to force the Enigma back, and they are going to engage on top now. With Enigma gone, this is some easy kills for them. ES ultimate takes that one, stops the left track TP, and 2 kills for the Radiant team. That is why the Morphling was pushing bottom, making that Enigma TP back. Sure, they don't get a tower, but they get 2 kills out of it, and that is a great trade for them. And
of course, they did do a lot of damage to that tower, so anytime Morphling or whoever wants to push that bottom lane, it's going to be very, very easy for them to finish that off. Now, I think Ricky has finished up a defusal. Yes, there it is. It's on its way now. And Ricky can start causing some pain. I think can really start setting some games. But then again, I mean, he can't really run that much. I don't know if he's aware yet, but Venomancer does have that gem of True Sight ready to go, so he could. I just don't know if he's spotted it yet. He's got a DD up. He really wants to make something happen, but he's waiting for his diffuser. Here it comes. All right, he's going to try and shut down Windrunner. Going to throw down the smoke. Oh no, he's waiting for the stun as well. There's Malphite. Not going to. Oh, he did actually throw down the charge, and there's the big black hole there from Enigma. Going to bring down Venomancer as well. Can they finish him up there? Ricky now going to go down. Did they get the eye? The eye is still on the ground. Did anybody get rid of it? I think Enigma killed it. Just checking the...
He must have killed it, and that was... they did manage to take out the Ricky, though. He couldn't fade back into Invis in time, and now Draken on the run. He's gonna... the Grave was coming, but the Ether Shock was there first, and Tidehunter now in the middle, looking to do some damage to this Morphling. Not gonna be able to get the kill. They don't have enough nukes or disables to stop him. Leshrac coming in a bit too late, and another trade going slightly in the Radiant's favor. They took out both the Ricky and the Enigma, only losing Veno and Windrunner. Definitely the Radiant team going to be happy with that one. Morphling is going to be getting closer and closer to that BKB. Only 100 gold away if that is what he's going for.
I'm going to say shout out to that Jack playing Rasta. That was a quick, slick move from him. Saw that Enigma juked around the trees, so he dropped an Ether Shock into the hard camp, and it bounced over the trees and straight into Enigma, taking him out. Of course, they did have line of sight thanks to that ward there. Now, Enigma has borrowed Rasta's bottle, has drank most of the charges, is now just deciding to farm with his weapon. Oh, wait, did he replicate? Oh, no, replicated back in the base. I'm wondering where the hell he went all of a sudden. But he's just bought, in fact, did he just buy something? He just finished up his BKB.
Yeah, that'll give him the ability just to sort of wave on in, right-click whoever he wants, and there's not much they can do to stop him, unless they want to use that black hole just on a Morphling. But the thing is, ES is going to be sitting behind, ready to fissure that Enigma if he goes in with a black hole. So they've got the heroes to back up the Morphling if he wants to go in with that BKB, focus a hero like the Dazzle, possibly even the Leshrac if he can do enough damage. And we're going to see whether or not the Dire team can deal with this BKB on him now. That's 2 BKBs with both Shadow Shaman and Morphling.
Yeah, I think Leshrac is definitely warrants a focus fire from the Radiant team, just because as we saw last game, he can do so much freaking damage, and now Windrunner is just helping Morphling's farm a little bit there, getting everything with his waveform. Now the Dire team are forming up on this bottom tower. They're going to try and protect it. It's very low though, so any kind of, they're going to have to get aggressive, going to have to try and stop the Radiant if they push, just because, they're going to have to get aggressive. They can't wait. They can't wait for reinforcements to arrive. So I think they might just need to sacrifice this tower. Although, is that Ricky there? Ricky is here. Now the question is, have they managed to pick up another eye yet? Just because that was a big blow, losing that early eye. I noticed Venomancer is dropping counter wards. They have decided to sacrifice that tower indeed. And Ricky just sort of running around. He's just sort of, he's just like, you know what, I don't care. I'm just going to look for kills. Not really bothered about farming. Just, if I can find a kill, it's all good. Now, the Dire might need to defend against an early rush.
Yep, they do scan out the Ricky with that Sentry Ward. He is going to be just outside of range. They're going to have to drop down another one, or it does. And it looks like they do want to take a roast. They've dropped the Serpent Wards, and Enigma is at top, so Enigma not going to even come back to defend unless he wants to TP now, but there's the tier 2 tower's down. There's nothing to TP to. He's just going to look to trade this tier 2 tower for that roast and just make the best of a bad situation.
I definitely agree, and it looks like Morphling, 1,000 gold. Looks like he might be going for a Mantis style next. He has picked up a Yash. I heard the blink. There's Earthshaker getting involved, and now there's the Echo Slam. Leshrac very low, gets pinned to a tree. Has got Shallow Grave, the counter attack there from Tidehunter. Pops the Ravage, cracking shell, saving him there, getting him out of the shackles. And now Rasta also popping his BKB, getting involved. It looks like we're going to lose Tidehunter anyway. Tidehunter going down. Did we lose anybody else? Leshrac, yes, Leshrac of course died. Dazzle has actually gone for phase boots. I find that a little weird. I really figured he'd go for something that either help him bulk up a bit or just, you know, increase his mana pool so he can spam a little bit harder. I mean, even something like Arcane Boots would have made more sense to me.
Yeah, the phase boots just give him a bit of movement speed, and that's, with all these disables on the Radiant team, it's not going to help him out all that much. As the Radiant team are feeling, they're confident, they just want to keep on pushing. They haven't got the Serpent Wards for another 35 seconds, but they want to chip away at this tier 3 tower possibly, or maybe even find this Ricky, as Ricky is behind them. He's going to walk into a Sentry Ward in just a second if he's not careful.
I'm going to say I like this from Bruce Lee right now. He's got the illusion. He's defending top lane, but he's got the illusion here in case he wants to pull back. And he might switch his illusion in a second. Like you said, Ricky could be in some trouble. Ricky actually having dust pop, and Ricky going to go down here. He's getting hammered. Morphling did just switch. I saw him pop up on the minimap, and he's here and ready to fight. Now Leshrac having the tables turned. He has to run away. Waveform. Morphling has gone very deep ahead of his team. The disables could come out here. Anchor Smash. Nobody going for the tables, and Fissure block has that block. Shackle shot on Tidehunter. Tidehunter breaks free with Kraken Shell. BKB being popped by Morphling. Morphling going to give chase. No. Backs up, and the port in goes for the ward trap. Rasta, nice smooth moves, but Ricky just avoiding that, just barely. And the Serpent Wards are down, although that seems to be taking a fair bit of damage. They're causing some damage to the tower, and they may well lose this Rax. And I think it was a very smart play with that Morphling defense and immediately replicating back into position, Gods.
Yeah, he popped the BKB to try going in. They're missing the ward trap, but hey, the ward trap in range of that tower. They're doing damage here. They may have to back off here as Ricky does go in with the smoke. Forces the Radiant team to at least back off temporarily. We will see a TP out. They're going to back off. They're going to just take that little advantage. I mean, they're just getting further and further ahead. Sure, they didn't get the tier 3 tower. They didn't get the racks yet, but they did increase their lead. They forced the Ricky to buy back, and that's going to cost him later on. He's going to have less gold to pick up that next item of his, which is going to be a BKB. He's got the Ogre Club, but he needs that BKB as soon as possible, and that buyback is going to slow him down a lot.
Of course, BKB doing the useful thing of purging dust on him if dust off him is necessary. I'm a little surprised. I mean, do you think he'll get Geos after that? Just because he needs that BKB, just because there is a lot of magic damage. Obviously, Rasta. And Rasta, as well as Venomance, can drop a lot of magic damage into someone. And I mean, Morphling's no slouch either, especially if he's going to pick up a Ethereal Blade a little bit later as well.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, but right now the Dire team, they need to make something happen. They may even group up for another smoke here, as they do have 5 all at bottom. They don't have a smoke on them. Is that one flying out? Yes, it is. Here they go. And this needs to connect to something, because if it doesn't, they're just wasting more and more time. But the problem is the entire Radiant team, they're together at mid. So what they need to do is go catch out middle lane from behind and use that as, oh, there you can see. Oh. They're going to smoke as well. This is just going to be a straight head-on clash by the looks of things.
This is going to be a complete mess. Morphling leading charge, walks straight to the strike. The smoke goes down. Morphling going to die here. Black Hole gets popped. Ravage counter-attack there as well, as it looks like Ricky going to town. The Rafter Wards have been popped out. Echo Slam going down for Earthshaker. Wards, Shallow Grave being popped on Leshrac. Leshrac pulsing overing away. Is burning through his manifold. Going to try and drop as many heroes as he can, but really, ultimately, it looks like Morphling, Bruce Lee being too damn hard to kill right about now, and they're probably going to lose time before the fight is done. Tidehunter very low. Goes down to an Adaptive Strike. I mean, even Dazzle trying to get the hell out of it. Gets shackled. He's in a lot of trouble, and even Enigma still in this fight, trying to bring down Earthshaker. Earthshaker goes down, but still,
and they're going to pick up all 5. What? I mean, Morphling there, Ultra Kill, you can see it. He went down instantly, but he had the Aegis, he respawned, pops the BKB, and as a result, I mean, there we go, complete team wipe, all because of that Aegis, and that shows just how important that Aegis can be in these games, as, I mean, if he didn't have that Aegis, that team fight would have gone completely different, and Dire would have found themselves winning that team fight, but, I mean, Radiant, they played it smart. Aegis Morphling was in front when they went with that smoke game.
Yes, he was indeed leading the charge. Went smack bang into Leshrac. Immediately the Dire were really fast. They were all over his case before he could pop anything defensive. But in the end, it didn't really matter because, of course, like I said, baiting with the Aegis, not a bad plan at all. Meanwhile, Morphling busy pushing his bottom. I'm just trying to see if he's got any illusions rolling around anywhere. Doesn't look like it. As Shadow Shaman just got his Argon, so we got boosted wards right about now. Really, really nasty Serpent wards. I was wondering what Morphling is indeed finish off a Mantis style right about now. He has enough for it. If he wants it right now, he could afford it. The question is, what is he going to build next? Is he going to pick Phenargonims or something? I mean, not Nungs. What am I saying? Ethereal Blade. Aghanims or Morphling, what does it do?
I've ever heard. It's the first I've ever heard of the Aghanims Morphling. It sounds like something you do in pub games.
Yes, I've built an Aghanims just to... doesn't do anything, but it looks pretty, and I confuse people, and the enemy team just forfeits.
Yep. He might not even go for the Manta style here. He could be using this ultimate orb to go for a Skadi, which is Morphling is one of the few heroes that Skadi is actually a viable item on because of the Morph stats. You can make all that strength it gives turn it into agility, and he does benefit slightly from the increased mana pool it gives as well.
And
so
of
I think
course, the
Skadi
Bass is slow too.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think it's a possibility, but we'll wait and see. The fact that he hasn't bought the Mad Style makes me think he might be going for a Skadi. He is going to get jumped on at mid, pops the BKB, and will not turn around. Just going to use that to make sure he can survive, although that will eat up one of his BKB charges.
Yeah, one of the things that really annoys me when I find it difficult to stay involved in the fight, just because the Morphling's range does frustrate me a little bit, so...
Yeah.
So he can be kited with a good stun or two. It is very annoying for him because he's already burned, of course. If he's already burned that waveform, if he's tried to use that to get in. So I find stuns very frustrating. But of course, he has gone straight for that BKB. Very, very good item on him when he's up against this really spell-reliant lineup. Of course, then again, Ricky, of course, can go straight. And Ricky actually building his own BKB, still getting close, about 1,000 gold away. 900-ish gold away, getting relatively close. I should mention that Windrunner has finished up her mech. I'm just looking for a pipe on the Radiant side. Can't see one at the moment. No, it doesn't look like they've gone with a pipe at the moment. Radiant. It looks like, oh, there's a Shackle catching two. That was an excellent Shackle. Earthshaker now going. There's the Echo Slam. Tidehunter going to go down. Morphling getting involved. Doesn't manage to land anything there. Adaptive Strike on Leshrac. Leshrac backing up, but there is the tower down, and we're going to see an easy Rax here, gods.
Yeah, very straightforward. Great Shackle shot, set the entire fight. And Tidehunter, the Kraken Shell, even with the Kraken Shell, he got stunned by the ES immediately when the Kraken Shell triggered, and he couldn't even get off his Ravage there. And bottom Rax goes down, and the Radiant team could look to pressure mid, but they're just going to probably back off, defend top lane, and just look to regroup and push once Morphling picks up his next big item, which, I mean, I think it's looking more and more likely like he will go for the Skadi. The rest of his teammates getting up some big items as well. Shadow Shaman has an Aghanim Scepter, ES up to 1k gold, and this is just getting a bit ugly for the Dire team, who now have some answers that they have to go search for, as BKB still not up on Ricky at 31 minutes, and that's gonna be costly. Even when he gets that BKB now, it's gonna be too little, too late, I feel.
And of course, you know, this is only the first game in a best of 3 series. So even if HARROSH lose this one, which is looking more and more likely, of course they have got another lifeline, have got another chance to equalise and then take it home. So stay around for that once we finish up this match. But yes, it is looking very, very dire for them right about now. It is very, they are struggling a lot. As Windrunner, that's Earthshaker actually, has picked up a Staff of Withdrawal. I'm wondering if he's going for Aghanims there, although often when we see Aghanims they go straight for the point booster if they can possibly afford it, so maybe he's trying to get something else.
Yeah, well, wait and see, but yeah, there we go, Morphling with the Skadi now, and basically Radiant team, they might wait for Roshan to respawn here, or they might just go lead the charge down middle lane, as they are getting a bigger and bigger gold lead, now up to 15k lead in gold, and XP as well, approaching that same mark. So things are spiraling out of control.
Actually, I'm just looking at this. It looks like Morphling. When I see like the whole Mushi Morphling build, the shotgun, like the Mushi Morphling, he tries to sit at about 1200 health. But this Morphling is going, you know what, 18. I noticed he morphed a little bit earlier, but he only went down to 1800. He was sitting about a little bit above 2000. Oh, there's a replicate. Where did he go? He's gone back to mid. But yeah, do you find this common with a Skadi Morphling build where he doesn't go as low as the shotgun build?
Yeah, no, that's right. Sorry, I just got a bit distracted there. As we will see, they are going towards mid lane, and Tidehunter needs to make sure he can get up a good Ravage here. But the problem is those BKBs, the wards already get dropped now, and they're just going to be ready. As soon as Tidehunter goes to walk in, they'll pop those BKBs, and he's going to get taken out before he can even cast the spell. Although he will, ooh, nice grave coming out from Dazzle. Going to keep him alive, but still he's just not able to go in and get a Ravage off, and as a result, they're going to lose Rax here.
Sure. Oh, Venomancer bringing down Tidehunter. I was just wondering who the hell killed him. He was all the way back in space. Now there's a Shackle. Oh my god. Complete obliteration there on Enigma. Nothing to do. Down goes Leshrac as well. No backpack being carried from there. And so it looks like, where is Ricky? Ricky's not involved. Ricky's just, you know what, screw this. I don't want to. This is not much fun.
Ricky did finish that BKB, but it's just, by now, Radiant team too far ahead. And they will, with that Morphling beyond God, like triple kill. they're going to win game 1 of this best of 3 grand finals.
And also a gem being picked up again by Venomance. Ricky popping that BKB, hoping he can run away. Body blocks. Very smooth from Rusty. I like that. That was an excellent play from him, just body blocking the hell out of Ricky. Just waiting.
It's one of those tricks that was very popular back in Dota 1, where it was people had just mastered the Warcraft 3 engine so well they could block with so much ease. Hasn't been seen as much in Dota 2, but that's always it's one of those flashy moves that when you pull it off, does look very good.
I think it's just because the pathing AI just isn't quite as retarded as the Warcraft 3 engine.
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous how easy it is to body block in Dota 1.
See, there is the big black hole. Only catches 2 heroes. I don't think they really give a damn though. Now Morphle going to town Leshrac. Waveform through the fight. Brings down Leshrac. There is the Echo Storm. Countered by Ravage. We lose Rasta, but down goes Earthshaker as well. Morphling still in the fight. Gonna try and bring down the ghost. Shallow Grave. That's not really working for him. Gets stunned again by that Malifest. Power Shot goes through. Takes out Tidehunter. Doesn't quite get Shadow Shaman. That's not Shadow Priest, the Dazzle. Morphling decides, you know what, Fountain replicates out! Oh, smooth moves. Fantastic.
Very nice, very nice. And the Dire team looking just to pick up a few kills to walk away with as small little trophies of their loss here.
I mean, it's not over yet. It's not over yet, but of course, game 1.
For me, that's one of the things with Dota. You call GG and then you keep on playing. I mean, in StarCraft 2, you watch the players, you watch the teams, they call GG, and less than 2 seconds later, they're out of the game.
Or, you know, or if they're Idra, they're out before the GG. It's just bam, gone. Even though he's winning, he'll just quit, just straight up.
Yeah. But the call GG, then keep on playing for another 5-10 minutes. It's not something I exactly agree with when it comes to Dota, which a lot of teams are guilty of.
I know. I think they just say, you know, let's just play it. I mean, this is of course in some situations where, you know, it's your last lifeline. May as well just play it again, because if something stupid goes, I mean, maybe the game will disconnect and a TO will rule in your favour. I mean, it's just one of those things you can't just give up. You just gotta...
Oh, no, yeah, nothing wrong with not giving up, but for me it's when you say GG, it's like saying, okay, you guys won. It's like calling the game's over. It's like, for me, it's like forfeiting. That's the whole point of typing GG in all chat. Yeah, and then playing on after doing that.
Wasn't it in Dota 1, it was FF for the forfeit, that's what you typed to say, I'm leaving the match now.
Well, in some leagues it was, but in competitive matches, I think teams would just say GG at the end. It's a bit ambiguous, but nonetheless, Radiant team are just going to keep on playing this out. They're going to go for the killing blow here at top lane. They've got all 5 heroes there. Shadow Shaman, well, sorry, a Morphling Illusion of the Shadow Shaman heading towards the middle lane as a target that you can replicate out to, or just possibly use to cause some confusion here.
Yes, it looks like Windrunner not involved in the fight at the moment. She's a long way away. The Serpent wants to get thrown down. Leshrac going in, drops the stun there on top of Venomancer. Ricky now going to town, pops his big, he manages to purge Venomancer, changes targets in the middle of the fight, and then backs up. So we're not going to see Venomancer go down. As there is a Poison Nova. I don't think that hit anybody. It doesn't look like, no, it doesn't look like it hit anybody. Fisher goes down, hits Leshrac. Can they follow up? They will follow up. Down goes Leshrac. Morphling all over his case. In fact, the illusion of Morphling very, very low there. Bruce Lee going, in fact, Bruce Lee has become a mantra as well now. Shackle now on Ricky. Echo Slam on Enigma, as well as Ricky. Counter attack there with a Ravage. And it looks like we're going to lose Earthshaker in a second. Tries to force up his way to trouble. Gets taken out anyway. And Ricky being hexed. They can see, I'm pretty sure, yep, they have a gem up and running. Down goes Ricky. And, well, Tidehunter and Dazzle, the only survivors of that clash, will back up while the Mega Creeps are spawned.
Yep, and Throne is getting chipped away. This is the actual GG as the Radiant team, Ice from Malaysia, are going to go into Game 2 with the 1-0 lead, as we will see whether or not HARROSH, the Singaporeans, can make some sort of a comeback and win game number 2 and force us to go into game number 3. This is the grand finals of the qualifier number 1 for the Gigabyte Dota 2 Masters. We'll be back shortly.